and watch it take shape. Now I can't hear. Hello, hello, hello. I could hear the music. Now I can't hear myself. Hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube audience. Good morning, YouTube audience. There you go. I can hear myself a little bit. Good morning, YouTube audience. I put it in the wrong one. Damn it. Can you hear me? Are we on live?
I can hear you.
You can hear me? See if you could put mine up a little bit. Can you? There we go.
I'm playing trial and error. I don't know what number you are.
Hold up. I'm going to switch. I want to go into 13 here. I'm going to switch this out.
Okay.
As we speak.
I will. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? What an absolute whirlwind of a Friday morning. Good morning, everybody. It's the Dave Kusiak Show on WJOB 1230. What is it? I don't remember the rest of it. Oops. But, yeah, good morning, everybody. We are live on air. I'm sorry for the delay. We are having some trouble getting on the radio still.
Some trouble.
There's a lot of trouble. It's always Friday
Are we on
mornings.
YouTube?
It's always Friday mornings that we have these trouble.
Is this live YouTube radio? Is that what they call it? It's our streaming. It's not called radio?
No, we are streaming.
So now people can hear us? So what, were we dead on YouTube prior to that? Or were you playing something else?
Oh, my gosh. My mic is all over the place, man. Am I cutting in and out for you? Can you hear
No.
me? Okay.
Your level is perfectly good. It's 6:39. You're listening to Dave Kusiak Show. It is Friday. And you know what you do when there's problems? You keep on rolling. And that's what we're teaching these young kids. Jim is down the street trying to get things rolling to get on the radio. And until then, we'll continue to keep on going. Can we take phone calls or no?
Yeah, we could take
219-845-1100. We had scheduled at 7:45 Brent Brazier calling in from Milwaukee. And at 7 o'clock, I'm honored, and this will be turned into a podcast, it says, I can hear you on YouTube, just can't see you. So I don't know if there's a camera or whatnot.
It was a little delayed. It should, yeah.
Okay, it'll start coming on.
Yeah.
So at 6:45, Brent Brazier will be calling in 5 minutes from Milwaukee to talk about a few things. At 7 o'clock, we will have the legendary Dan McNeil, and we're going to talk for about an hour. And we will, and now I can't hear you on YouTube.
What?
Well, Tony, keep sending me what you can, and then we'll get it straightened out. So we're just going to keep on doing what you're doing, and I'm going to keep on talking, and at one time we're going to get it all straightened up. So technical difficulties here, obviously, on WJOB. The radio is down. I can hear you again, which is a good thing.
Me?
No, I'm reading what people are texting me.
Oh.
So today's program, as we'll continue to run, I believe that Russ Radke was supposed to be calling in at 7:15 to talk about his Knox football team. He has a football player that could possibly, now I'm visible. All right. The Dan McNeil's coming on at 7 o'clock, and we're not going to focus just on sports because I'll just be honest with you, I'm kind of over it. Not that I watch the Bears game. I keep up a little bit, just something so I know what's going on. But my desire to talk about things on WJOB, I did a 20-year stint on sports. I kind of am done, to be honest with you, with sports. I'll watch it here and there, but I'm talking about it really doesn't matter as much to me as it once did. And I think Dan offers a lot more than just sports, and he was one of the number one guys in the Chicagoland sports area for a very, very long time. And he can give a perspective about – I would like to talk a little bit about free speech with him. I want to talk about what you people feel about government shutdown. I want to think what you feel about ICE, what you feel about what's going on in this area, and is it affecting you? Some people it doesn't affect whatsoever. Some people, their lives aren't based on the government. They don't really live in an area where ICE affects them as much as others, so these things aren't as big. There's other people that live in the northern part where there's been ICE that's come in. Obviously, people know people in Chicago. Are you in favor of ICE coming in? Are you in favor of the way that immigration enforcement has taken place? Now, let's not act like this is day one. We're in the position that we're in because of the last 45 years plus, and so it's got us in a bad spot. So, Joe, what do you guys think about the ICE and rounding up of illegal immigrants or aliens or undocumented. I don't care what you call them.
Okay. Well, personally, I I get it and I don't get it. Every time that I talk about politics on here, which is not very often, I I always preface the fact that eh, I'm both ways. You know, I understand.
I'm not here to talk about your sex life. I'm here. You just said you're both ways. I'm here to talk about your viewpoints.
Okay, well, my viewpoint is I understand why they're doing it. I don't like to the extent at which ICE is going to, and I don't think that all the people that they're bringing into camps are bad people, and a lot of them contribute to our economy. But the ones that don't, like, yes, I understand why that's a problem and why you wouldn't want to have them here. But there are a lot of great people who are immigrants, you know.
So let me play devil's advocate for you, because this is the reality of life. And this isn't how I'll tell you how I feel afterwards, but I want to ask questions, and that's my job to take either side or to take the opposite side or to have people explain. Is there a law in the United States of America that for you to be here legally, you either have to have been born here, or if you're coming from another country, for long-term status, you need to go through the process and become a citizen?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a law. Do we all agree on that?
Yeah.
So do we agree that people that are here that didn't do that have broken the law?
Yes.
Okay. So my question for those people, and I'm playing devil's advocate. If you choose to not obey that law, what law do I get to not obey? I don't want to pay my taxes. Do I get to choose that law? I want to drive today. I have a bunch of estimates, and I need to get a bunch of stuff done. I want to drive 55 miles per hour all day. I don't want to stop at those things that are called red lights. Is that okay?
I mean, half the time people don't.
I know. I'm asking that, so it's a serious question.
I guess.
So if there's this book of laws that's this big, do I get to pick and choose which laws that I think are moral, or I think that are right, or ones that I'm going to follow?
No, but you do break laws every day based off of what you think is necessary, right? Like rolling a stop sign, or, you know.
And then if you're caught, though, do you pay the consequences?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're going along those lines, those individuals that are here illegally, and here's why we're at the end of this. There are people that are here that are older than me, that have been here longer than I'm alive, that I've been alive, and I'm 56 going on 57, that have contributed, that have been great citizens, that have done all those things. But if you don't go through the process, what does that do? I asked this question to a lot of people during the election. And you're Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
So am I. And there's a lot of people who believe that just because you're Hispanic, that somehow you're like, the border should just be open. You would be surprised at the number of people that stood in line, that waited their turn, that are extremely happy that they're American citizens, and they're upset that that border was open and people come and go as they want. Okay? So what it's done is it's put people in poor positions. There are great people. I agree with you. There are great people. They contribute. I'll go a step further. A lot of those people work harder and contribute way more than some of these lazy-ass Americans do. Okay? They come in and work harder. Some of these lazy-ass Americans, all they do is suck off the system. And so if that's not the litmus test, though. If that were the litmus test, that would be like my company. You don't get rid of the hardest working people in your company. You keep the hardest working people in your company. You give them raises. We're getting rid of the wrong people in this country. Don't get rid of the people that are working hard. Get rid of the people that are sucking off the system. That's my viewpoint. But these two parties don't want to solve this. Okay? Because if they wanted to, it would have been solved.
Well, then what do you think the solution is? Because you were talking about the jobs and, like, the breaking laws, right? You said that you get to pick and choose what laws we break, and I told you that when we break laws, like, we choose it every day, right? We roll stop signs. We do that kind of stuff for a reason, right? These immigrants, they come here because they have no other choice. So
So there's a term for that. It's called the ends justify the means. So in other words, if you're believing that no matter, I completely understand someone coming over here that wants to improve their family. I got it. Okay? So you asked me a question, and this is the question that people at the highest level should be asking themselves. How do you solve it? Okay. First of all, you're never going to solve anything 100%. So when you go to troubleshoot, what you try to do is come up with a solution that's going to mitigate or solve the problem to the highest percentage that you possibly can. Okay? So if you were to ask me, what I would say is the following. I would say we are going to give people 365 days, 1 full year. We are going to turn the BMVs into areas where if you are not a legal citizen, you have 365 days to report who you are, what you've been doing, where you've been living, who you've been working for. And based off certain criteria, you will be put in a different bucket. If you've been here for 20 years and you've not committed a crime and you've worked for someone and you can prove it and you're a part of the community, you'll be put in the first bucket that will somehow either be a path to citizenship or a way to stay here with a work permit where you can continue to work, you pay your taxes, you become a part of the community, and you move forward in life. Okay,
I mean, I love that.
Okay, so that's number one. We should have about 4 buckets. Now, if you are one of those people that came over in the last 4 years because we had an open border, okay, then you're going to be in the one that you say, look, you better go back or you're going to be at the end of the list. So there's the range of things. So if you've been here for 20 years and you can prove that you've worked and you haven't caused any problems, we want you to stay. Okay, I'm all for that. But the reason that they haven't solved the problem is the Democrats want, typically the Democrats want a path to citizenship. The Republicans say they don't want citizenship because they're being rewarded for breaking the law. Okay, but you have to have a grown-up discussion. You ever hear the saying, possession's 9/10 of the law? They're here. They're here and they're working. So why would you get rid of people that are working? That's the most asinine thing that I've seen. So you're going to go take the people, and I've said this before, and I don't care if it pisses anyone off, because now all of a sudden it's okay if you listen to Don Lemon or you listen to Jasmine Crockett, that it's all, we could talk any race we want. White people are bad, that's okay. Then I get to say my say. And my say is Hispanics are the hardest working people in the United States of America by far. So if we're going to keep people based off what they do, then let's do that. And if you sit your lazy ass and suck off the system, then we should get rid of you. If we're going to have a frank conversation, because every single day when I go to work, if I don't produce, I don't get paid. You just asked me if I could take care of something at your house. Yes, we can. I can get you an estimate. If I came over to your house and I proposed to do something and I brought my guy over there and we didn't make you happy, you're not paying me, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So every single day what we do is we have to estimate something, solve a problem, perform, produce, collect, and then service. That's the real world. So if we're going to move forward in this world, we need to solve problems. We're not solving problems at the national level. We're in shutdown right now, right? So do I think that it's right to grab people like they're grabbing people? No, I do not. Do I think that people should be scared in the middle of the night? No. But this is an end result of the last 45 years. The last meaningful conversation and law that took place with immigration was 1986, okay? And so when you don't handle your business, you get to the point where we're at now. But you said that you don't think they're handling it the way. So is someone wrong, Joe, and this for anyone else, 219-845-1100, and are there anyone calling? Because Brent was supposed to be calling, and we'll go to those phone lines. Is it wrong for someone that has lived in the United States of America, followed the rules, that was born here, followed the rules, they do everything the right way, they pay their taxes, they're good people? It says I did a walk around taking audio from YouTube. That was Jim. So why should those people be bad people? Because they were born here, they work here, They contribute, and all that they ask is that people follow the laws of the land. Does that make them a bad person?
Are you asking?
I'm asking you quite. And then you know what's funny? I love Pope Leo, okay, because he's from Chicago and he's a White Sox fan. I'm Catholic. But it's real funny when they talk about immigration. I love when the Catholic Church talks about immigration, about how the gates should be open. Well, why don't you take the wall? Well, isn't there a wall built around the Vatican? What's that wall for, Joe? Protection? They don't just let anybody in? I love that with Washington. We're all for open borders. The first thing they do when there's an emergency is they put a fence up around the White House. And the first thing they do, it's easy for these governors and everyone else to sit there and say, they've got security. So the hypocrisy is unbelievable. 219-845-1100. We're on YouTube, I guess. We're working on getting on the radio. Let's go to the phone lines. It's, what is it, 550, 654. Good morning. You're live in the air. I guess you're not in the air. I don't know what we're doing. We're streaming or whatever it is that we do here, but you're on whatever we do.
Yeah. I have one question. How many people do you think are legally allowed into the country every year?
1.5 million.
Exactly. And the Democrats say it's a broken system. They like to say nobody's above the law, right? They lie. Because they really mean is unless it advances their power interest. And why do you think the last president opened the borders?
So we're on the radio now, Joe. Jimmy is saying. So for those people, we've had some technical difficulties. I know if people are coming on, it's 6. Thank you, Walt, for 1 second. It's 6:55. We've had technical difficulties. My understanding is we're now on the radio, which is 12:30 a.m., 104.7 FM from the beautiful Strachan Van Til Food Market Studios. We're on YouTube streaming, I guess. It's a new thing. I'm an old guy. Why do I think that? So here's what I think. I think that there's a portion of the Democratic Party, mostly the progressive wing, that they don't believe in borders. They believe they want the world to be one. And they believe that if they would have let all those people in, that those people will eventually become Democrats. And if enough of them come in and they vote for their party, that it's going to be a major advantage for them, which they then would then run the country because they're going to have more.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Walt? Now you can, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes, now I do.
So I think that they were going to try to get all these people. I think it backfired. Obviously, because here's the deal. The Democrats said that you couldn't close the border, and then they did 6 months before the election. They actually did close the border without the bill that they said had to be signed. Don't you remember they said the bill had to be signed for us to close the border? Well, they knew they didn't sign the bill because Trump said not to sign it because they thought that would give the Democrats an advantage, so he told the people not to sign it, and they didn't. And then the Democratic Party, saying that they couldn't do this without a bill or legislation, then went and closed the border. And the last 6 months drastically reduced the number of people that were crossing the border illegally. Now, the Trump administration came in with no law. Executive order came in and basically closed the border. I saw now the numbers are going up a little bit, but it's like 11,000 instead of 200,000. So that's all a bunch of bull. Okay, which both parties are full of complete bull, by the way. The Democrat and Republican Party have run this country into the ground collectively. Now, you can argue who does more, and the term that's used is that the Democrats use is it's false equivalency. So they have they're on the moral high ground, and they haven't run under the ground as much. But at the end of the day, I was telling Joe this. You're a customer of mine. And you've used me and you've been happy. If you called me and I didn't solve your problem, and then you called me back again and I didn't solve your problem, and you called me back again, I didn't solve your problem. First of all, you're not going to pay me. And then secondly, you're going to say, I'm not calling that guy again. He's not capable of solving the problem. So in my 56
I've recommended
years,
you over WJOB.
And so my 56 years of experience has shown the following. Both parties have been in supermajorities during my lifetime. Both parties are saying that they're going to solve the problems of this world. Neither party solves them. We're fighting right now, just to give you an indication, and I have to look at numbers all day long. We are fighting right now. The current CR that the Republicans are promoting, which was the same budget as the Biden administration, has us in deficit spending. Okay? They're fighting. Here's where we're at. The Democrat and Republican Party are fighting and close the government down. The one party, and they're trying to keep a CR because they're in charge, and they would have been against it if they were in the minority, but now they're in the majority, so they want to go forward, is we're in deficit spending. The other party is saying we want health care, which I think we should have. It should be earned throughout this entire country. They want to add another trillion. We're $37 trillion in debt. I don't hear anyone talk about that.
Exactly.
It's their job. The Congress's job is to be in charge of the money. They have bankrupted this country, both parties, one more than others, and you'd be surprised. Most people believe that when Republicans are in, there's less of a deficit. It's the exact opposite, to be honest with you. Okay? And numbers can prove that. So the deficit rises more under the Republicans. Now, it could be argued why, because they give tax cuts and then they spend more money. Okay? And so, at the end of the day, the two people that we look to solve our problems, we've given both of them the keys to the car multiple times, and I would surmise that probably in the midterms, the Democrats are going to win the House, and they're probably going to win both elections here. This is a repeat. This is the same thing that's happened before. So it's always easier to say you're going to do a better job than the other guy because the people in charge normally suck. So then we give the keys to the other guy, then they run us into the ditch, and then the other people come back and say we're going to do it. We give them the keys, they run us into the ditch, and we're collectively $37 trillion in debt. We're the fattest country we've ever been. We're the dumbest we've ever been, and the two parties that have been in charge, this is their end result. In any other form of life, we would never give them another chance at solving the issue. Why do we continue to go back to the well when we know that the well is poisonous?
Do you remember what happened in '86?
Yes, I do.
Hey,
I'll remind your audience. The push was on by the Democrats to give amnesty, and the Democrats had the support of so-called moderate Republicans. And what was their propaganda line? 1 million, one time, never again. That was the promise. Reagan was finally convinced, and he, in his retirement, regretted he ever went along with this. He went along with
Tip O'Neill.
Kind of thing. 1 million was not 1 million; it was 3 million, and has the promise of never again has that been made? No.
So we're here. Okay, we're here. Today's 2025. It's October 3rd, 2025. We're here, and I am a pragmatic person in my life. I have to solve problems that affect us, my family, my business. Okay, we have to solve problems. We can't run away from them. Little kids go in the corner and wish that things go away. That's kids do that. Adults have to solve them. My old man used to say you can wish in one hand and crap in the other and see which one fills up first. Okay, so neither party has solved the issue. Okay, and the hypocrisy of the parties is just unbelievable to me. We're worried about so the Republicans are worried about who the halftime show is of the NFL. I thought they were the party of it's the NFL's business. I thought when ABC cut Jimmy Kimmel that it was the perspective of the business to do that. So the NFL, which I could care less, I don't really watch. I didn't even know who Kendrick Lamar was last year. I didn't watch the show. I don't know who Bibby Boop is, and I really am probably not going to watch the show, but it's the NFL. And if you don't like it, change the station. What now all of a sudden they're saying that the Republicans are somehow worried about who the halftime show of the Super Bowl is? That's what we have time to worry about? The hypocrisy is beyond belief. And we're trying to win social points. I don't care what the NFL does. I don't care if the NFL exists. It's a private business.
I hung up on him. It's already 7. I was wondering if you're trying to get.
We're supposed to go. Let's go through some lines, and then Dan McNeil should be coming in, and we're going to talk about some things. And I think at 7:15, Jim had set up Coach Radke. I don't know if that's happening. I want to appreciate all your patience. We've obviously had some technical difficulties. Joe, thank you very much for doing what you do. Jimmy's been running back and forth between 6405 Alcott Avenue, which is the old station with the tower, and 7150 Indianapolis Boulevard. So we'll do what we continue to do. I'll act like the program's going. You could probably listen to me. You're either listening to me on the radio or you're watching us on, what is it? YouTube.com or something?
Yeah.
I do have YouTube TV. At home.
YouTube.com/WJOB1230.
I need to write that down. Tell me that again so I can tell people. So it's YouTube, youtube.com
backslash WJOB1230.
WJOB1230. Okay. So no Radke today. So Jimmy just sent. So we'll have Dan McNeil's coming in. I appreciate that. Let's go through some phone lines. 219-845-1100. Good morning. You're live in the air now. Hola.
Am I on the air?
Yes, you are. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you
Your
doing?
favorite Confederate.
Oh, listen. Jimmy told me I can't say this anymore, Joe, so I won't say this. Everybody should own at least one Confederate. And here he is on the air, and his name is Brent Brazier. And he's a proud Confederate, and he's an Auburn boy, Auburn Tiger.
Yeah, it's been a rough season down on the plains so far.
What are we, 2-2?
1-3. Let's see. No, 2-2.
2-2.
Right.
Hey,
we beat the 2 cupcakes. We lost to the 2 actual teams. It's not going to be pretty.
Not going to be pretty this year.
But,
So let me ask you a question, because you are Joe was talking to me earlier before we got on about different parts of the country. You've obviously lived in several parts of the country, being in Alabama and graduating from Auburn, going to make some money and learning your trade in Texas, moving on up here with the White family, and then starting your business here, and then starting a business where you're at right this weekend. This is Brent Brazier, by the way, a co-host. I like to teach people the vocabulary, okay? Some people don't understand vocabulary. Joe, I used to have a printed out Webster dictionary, because sometimes with the liberals and the progressives, you have to speak, you know a little bit of Spanish. And when you speak to progressives, it's hable muy despacio. So you have to speak very slowly to them, because it takes them a little bit longer for them to get it. So Brent is a co-host. Now, a co-host means that when he's here, we both are he's not a guest. Today, Dan McNeil is a guest, okay? It means that he is scheduled today, all right, and he's taking a segment of the program. So he's a guest, just like Russ Radke was going to be. So I want to make sure people understand that, because my understanding is not everybody does, and it's my job here to teach people. A very good listener of mine said, I listened to you last week, and you should have been a professor. I said, I've been teaching the labor of love for a long time, brother. You know what I mean? Preach the word. Preach the word of WJOB.
I told you that.
Okay?
I told you that.
So Brent, I want to ask you a question.
There's a question in there somewhere, wasn't there?
The question is the following. Ice been in Milwaukee or no?
I haven't seen any. I think there's been some news reports. They turned a big old Walmart into a big facility, but it's not like Chicago where they're like walking around. Not that I've seen.
So as a business owner and as an individual that's 45 years old or 50, whatever you are, or somewhere in between, I asked the question.
50.
You're 50. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Go get a finger put in your booty and make sure you're okay. So
I've done it.
I'm actually going. My wife's supposed to be setting it up, and the Cleveland Clinic said they didn't want me to stop taking baby aspirin for one day. We got that all straightened up, so I'll be going through and drinking the barium real soon here. So let me ask you a question. What say you on what we should do with, let's just say there's 20 million undocumented people in this country, and some of them have been here as long as 25 years, some working, some not. What say you to solve the problem?
To me, it's very easy to solve, and I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. So the border's closed, right? No one's coming in.
Relatively, it's about 10.
Okay.
It's about 10,000.
So the people that are here, that are contributing members of society, that are working, that are paying taxes, that are part of their community, that are part of their parish, isn't that what we want in America?
Yes.
So when Trump was elected, I think you and I on this program both said, you know what, this is what the people chose, and let's give them a chance. Well, originally it was, we're going to deport all of the criminals. I support that wholeheartedly. If someone is a drug dealer or a murderer or a thief, let's deport them. But that's not really what's happening, right? I mean, they're grabbing everybody. There was did you see the news yesterday where they raided a building in somewhere on the south side, and they rappelled out of helicopters and took everybody in the building into custody, whether you were a criminal, white, black, Mexican, whatever.
I did not see that,
that's not
but
really,
I mean, I was actually working.
It was on the news. So they had a Black Hawk helicopter, and the guys are,
So
sliding down ropes onto the roof.
Brett, what would you say to the following? Let's say, for instance, because they know who these people are.
Right. So, think about how the government knows everything these days, right? I mean, to say that we can't have people come in, register, and like you said, if you've been here for 20 years, if you've been here for 5 years, you haven't gotten in trouble, and you're working, and you're paying taxes, and you're contributing to member society, I have no problem with that person staying. None. We need people. Last time I checked, could you hire more people today, Dave? I could.
We did hire some people this year. We've had probably 3 or 4 hires this year, and I also have had more people look for work in the last 6 months than I did the last 6 years. Okay, which was a good thing, and we've been able to improve our workforce. We actually hired people that had a lot of experience. I was extremely happy that we were able to do so. I think we're in the beginning of what is considered a slowdown. That's just my opinion. I think we're the first to see a slowdown, and we're the first to see a recovery. There's some pockets. It's weird. Our situation is just a little bit different. Bob Popovich, and our companies have 85 years of business, so we have customer base. So what I'd like to say is that we're working harder to get work. We probably are taking some stuff on that we wouldn't have taken on. You know what I'm saying? That just because we could pick and choose.
I think that's part of the economic climate. I mean, we're all having to do more with less, right? In my business, produce is up double digits, proteins are up double digits. I was looking at my NIPSCO bill, and October of 23 to October of 25, my NIPSCO bill increased 59%.
So 59% is.
I pay it.
Go ahead.
I pay as much in utilities as I do in rent now.
So that comes right off the bottom line. So I'll give you a perfect example. I have most of my trucks are lettered, but mine's I like to be able to take the magnets off because it's just better that way. So I have to take the magnets off and take my truck out the back, or ladder out of the back of the truck to get a car wash. So I tried to get there last night. I got there at 9:10. They closed at 9. And so I got up early this morning, not knowing that the radio wasn't going to be working, but I go to the car wash. I don't even know the name. Maybe Easy Clean, I think is the name of it. It's basically right where Hart Street is in Indianapolis Boulevard, across from Emilio's, over by our bar.
Oh, yeah.
I go today. I go today at 5. It was 5:39. And I looked over, and the guy was walking towards me, but I'm getting efficient enough to use my credit card and use the computer and tap it. It said $7. And I looked at him. I said, no, I'll just take the basic 5. He goes, 2 days ago it went to 7. The owner said we had to do it. So he went from $5 to $7. So what's the percentage on that? Almost $7.50 is 50%. So he said he had no choice. So the same thing like us, our costs have gone up, and you try to hold it. Here's the one thing I will ask you that I love listening to the Democratic and Republican Party, both of them, including President Trump and now including all these people running against him. They're going to lower the cost of living. Now, you've been a businessman almost as long as me. I want to, I'm all for that. I'm all for curing cancer. Tell me how a government entity is going to lower the cost. Okay? I just, as a capitalistic society, I want to know exactly what the Democratic Party, if I vote for them, okay? I'm open to voting for anyone in the midterm. How will the government lower my mortgage? How will the government lower my NIPSCO? How will the government lower my fuel? How will the government lower my health costs? Now, they can do the health cost. They can do that. And I want to be a part of it. And I've said this, you and I have had these discussions before. I'm willing to put a couple points in as an owner. I'm willing to put a couple points in as an employee for health care. Now, government can get involved with that, but you tell me how government's going to change the price of your brisket.
I can tell you.
Okay.
Real easy. Get rid of the tariffs. That's
okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dan.
That's a pretty easy thing. I mean, anybody with a basic understanding of economics knows that tariffs make things more expensive. So you can lie to you all you want, but that's the reality. Look at what's going on.
So you're saying the tariffs, I understand, but the tariffs, let's just say.
Tariffs are inflationary.
Okay.
It's a fact.
All right. Okay.
Not up for debate.
I got you. So let's just say that you say you're getting rid of the tariffs. I got you. Okay. I agree. There's been some tariffs that have affected me. We just got a love letter, or Trump just said he's going up with 10% on lumber from Canada, directly impacts us. He said he's going up on 25% on cabinets, directly impacts us. We sell cabinets all the time. So outside of that, though, I want these people, because I really miss out on this. I love when people that have never run a business before, mostly people in Congress, that are telling me that they're going to lower outside of tariffs, because that really didn't exist, although tariffs did exist a little bit, and I'm a fan of steel tariffs. But the way that they're doing it, I'm not a fan of. But all these people, I would run on that too. I'm running for office, right? I'm going to lower your costs. I'm going to cure cancer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. And then when they get in, they don't do anything. That is the history of my 56 years of living. Do you know what lowers cost? You know what lowers your cost and what lowers my cost? Is the fact that there's 15 barbecue places in Northwest Indiana, and it's called supply and demand. Do you know why my cost, I just sat with my supply house yesterday, do you know why our cost is as low as they are? Is because we have close to 400 roofing companies in North Lake County, Porter County, and the Chicagoland area. So if I go too high on my price to try to have profit, I will drive by next week and someone else will be doing that job. That's called supply and demand. They have nothing to do with that. I don't want them involved at all. Anytime the government gets involved, they F it up. The government, much like the city of Gary for many years, would screw up a one-car funeral. Think about that for a second.
Okay.
They'd screw up a one-car funeral.
I don't disagree.
So tell me what they've done right. Tell me what government's done right. We're $37 trillion in debt. We're the fattest country we've ever been. We're the dumbest we've ever been since we've been taking numbers. What have they done right?
Nothing to my knowledge.
So why would we go to them?
What are you looking for? It's only getting worse.
So, but I'm saying this is collectively from 2000.
So let me ask you this. So in the election, all we heard about was the debt, and we have to do something about the debt. And what's the first thing that the Republicans control? All three houses, or all three branches of government, right?
Yes.
They got the Congress, they got the Senate, they got the presidency. They increase the debt more.
Of course. I told you earlier, the battle right now is between the current CR, which is the Biden budget, which is adding to the debt, and the Democrats want to add $1.5 trillion to it. So this, you're making my point that these two guys have already run us into the ditch. Why are you going back to take driving lessons from them? I mean, that would be like you having someone that doesn't show up, or someone that burns the brisket. That you have your number one guy that burns the brisket 5 times, so you go to the second guy, he burns it 5 times, then you come in the next day and you ask either one of those two to cook the brisket. Hey, bring Dan in for a second. Can you bring Dan in, and then we're going to take a break. He wants to say hello to you. Level, is he plugged in? Hold up, Joe. Oh, you grabbed the wrong one? I use mine. Wait 1 second, Dan. I because I'm a sweaty guy, and I don't like other people's sweat, I bring my own. Did I unplug you? Let me see. See if this one's working. Double check it now. Can you hear? Can we hear?
Check 1, 2.
I got you.
He's hearing. So you hear?
Check 1, 2.
There we go. There. Listen.
I'm waiting to hear the dolphin.
No, you had it. No. Leave that back on. I know. Hold up. He's going to get your hearing going. Don't bring Jesus into it. He's not here.
Check 1, 2. Check 1.
You can hear him, but he can't.
I cannot hear myself.
Okay, wait 1 second. I know. I got it. You can hear. Can you hear me or no?
I can hear you.
So you can.
Okay.
Okay.
Can't hear Mr. Auburn Tiger out there.
Wait 1 second. We got to get Joe. Take a deep breath. Let's get this set
This
up.
is what we're going to do. Bryant, you're going to stay on the line if you'd like. We're going to go to break for a real quick second. I'm going to fix everything. And
Stay on the line, Auburn Tiger. And Jimmy told me this many times, and I follow the rules, Dan, just like you do. He told me that I should not say
we'll be right
that
back
everybody should own
with
at
the
least
Dave
one
Kusiak
Confederate.
Show.
Welcome back, everyone. It is currently 7:23, and you're listening to the Dave Kusiak Show. We have no Russ Radke today, unfortunately. It was going to be nice. It would be a little bit of a reunion of some guys that know Griffith very well. But we have Dan McNeil. Dan, good morning.
Good morning. Am I on?
I hear you. Do you hear yourself?
Not in my headphones.
Okay, we'll get it.
Only in my head.
Only in your head you hear yourself talking?
I'm just curious. Russ Radke was an interesting booking for today's show, knowing I was coming in.
I don't think it was. I think it was before. Russ Radke was.
Oh, okay.
He's the coach of Knox, and I guess Jimmy's telling me that there's a player that's on the verge of possibly breaking the all-time rushing record in the state of Indiana. And he was going to talk about that, but that didn't happen. It was going to be his.
Who holds that record?
Do not know. I'm not a football guy. You are. I was a basketball
guy. I'm
guy.
betting Anthony Thompson of Terre Haute South. He was an Indiana Hoosier between 86 and 89, and I was lucky enough to cover Anthony's career 1 year when I was on the Hammond Times staff in 86. Paul Mullaney, Bishop Noel Institute, made me the first Big Ten reporter in Times history. And I covered a handful of IU games that year, including one against Michigan late in the year when Jim Harbaugh's Michigan Wolverines, first interview with Jim Harbaugh, they beat IU 38-10. But Anthony Thompson was a joy to watch.
So those people that know that I'm very close with the Ferry family. Mark Ferry on that team, 1984 Bishop Noel grad, plays for Coach Mallory, goes to 2 or 3 bowl games. 1988 played against Tony Mandrich and Blake Ezor.
I love
and
Blake
Lorenzo
Ezor.
and Lorenzo White.
White.
The winner goes to the Rose Bowl. Obviously, Michigan State handled their business, but probably
and then got pumped by USC on that New Year's
probably
Day,
the best 4 years of IU football. But now you got Signetti who's going to try to change that. But we went to 1987 game. It was the game of the week on ABC. A Chuck Hartlieb led Iowa Hawkeyes against IU, and we were down there, and so very near and dear to that run. But let's go to Brent. Brent, are you still on the air?
I'm still here, Buck.
Okay, so
hey, purveyor of fine meats, you'd never burn your brisket, and if you did, I'm okay with that because those crispy, barky edges are the best meats in town, and I had a big plate of it on Sunday. Watching NFL football, which I'm trying to get my head around this year. It's the most indifferent I've been about the NFL in my adult life this season. I didn't watch one Bears preseason game. I didn't follow any local media, sports radio. I mean, you can't help but hear the headlines if you live in America. And I have access to media of any type. You hear the rumors and what the stories are, but I'm unplugged as much as ever before. Thank goodness we can't afford the tailgate here on JOB. I don't know what we'd program it with. I guess we could program it with Almanac Island.
So go ahead, Joe.
I have a fun story. So I was at the Cowboys-Bears game 2 weeks ago, and we went tailgating or whatever. I brought a couple of my buddies. We walked around. We found this place with like 50 liquor bottles on the table, right? So we walk up, and we're wondering if we could get a free shot.
That's a score, brother. We called that a score when we were your age.
So we walked up. We were like, hey, can we get a shot? And he was like, you have to take a shot of this first. And it's this Crown Royal bottle with a picture of this man, like some random dude's scrotum on it. And he goes, so basically this guy has 8 season tickets, 4 for him, 4 for his buddies that he brings, and he doesn't make them pay for the tickets, but he says bring a bottle to the tailgate, and then when there's like this much left in the bottle, they all pour it into that one Crown Royal bottle, so it's just a mix of like all these different types of alcohol, and randoms have to take one shot of it before they get a free shot.
So that's what they call those, Dan, when Long Island iced tea is basically what you're saying.
We used to call it the bar mat shot. Pour all the spilled stuff from the bar mat into a cup and somebody has to drink it.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking to a kid from down south. They'll drink anything. So
it tasted like whiskey Everclear.
He'll drink anything, but he'll lean toward those high-end rye whiskeys and Scotch whiskeys. Don't kid yourself.
Oh, they're snobs. They're whiskey snobs.
He's
a whiskey
snob. There's no question about it. He may wear overalls and love the blues, but let me tell you something about this Brent Brazier. From Del Frisco's to Doc's, this man has taste. And, I hope Doc's
only
on
'cause I
by
drank
the
crap
house
for
is going
30 years.
to Brent, I hope your restaurant on Calumet Avenue, South Munster, as I like to call it, is going to survive without my presence in the neighborhood. I'm leaving Dyer Ridge, as Patrick has called it. My last week in the house is next week, and yeah, I hope you guys can survive, because I won't be in there anymore to keep your staff company and drink all those high-end whiskeys.
Man, we're really going to have to tighten our belts now.
So I'm hearing that the radio is not a good sound from a listener, so I don't know if anyone – I'm just giving you
what
the
a
information.
Shock. Yeah.
I'm giving you the information. You guys can do what you want with it.
This is
so let's do what we all do, which is move on,
Yeah.
and they will try to fix what's going on.
It's worth addressing, though, because the listeners obviously experience it. When I got in my Ford Edge today and was eager to hear if we'd recaptured the signal after you told me we were down, I thought I was listening to War of the Worlds. I mean, it was, for those of you youngsters out there, that's a longtime radio bit Orson Welles did, and tricked America
into thinking that there was a war. That's one of the things we did here. They went to go replay the tapes of 2008 flood, and we had to stop playing them because people were like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like, "It's not raining out."
Yeah, that's when Jim Tedlow saved WJOB.
I was part of that team, and I was there when Bernie Zeman came in, and I had to break up a fight between Bernie Zeman and Matt Reardon and I were live on the air when Bernie Zeman, the late fire chief of Highland, Chief Timmer, and Brian Novak came in because they couldn't get the information out. And Jimmy screams they're about ready to throw the blows. And that was some times. We had to tell people how to get around for 4 days.
Yeah,
94 was underwater. It was not working.
No one can get anywhere.
Yeah.
We were literally, I could have rode to Doc's from my house.
Absolutely. So,
the 900 yards or so. And Jim was here, bunkered down. And I was listening. I was, how do I get to Chicago to do the Mac Yurko and Harry show? That Monday following Carlos Zambrano's no-hitter against the Astros, which he pitched in Milwaukee, by the way, as Cubs fans may remember.
Brent, can I ask you a question? I've heard some things.
Sir.
Set the record straight on the restaurant and the future of the Dyer Docks.
What have you?
Someone asked me if you guys are still open.
Yeah, man, we're doing better than ever. We're back to where we were pre-COVID.
I like to hear that. That's why I'm asking you the question.
We're going to be celebrating our 10th anniversary in April, which I think is a pretty damn big milestone for any restaurant. 87% fail in the first year.
Especially in the region, dude.
Closing in on a decade. We actually have, we're doing Oktoberfest today.
Well, why don't you give yourself a plug of what's going on, and then we'll talk about a couple topics that I want to get into. I love talking to Dan McNeil about some. So when I asked Dan to come on, he's like, "Oh, I really haven't kept an eye on sports." I said, "I don't really want to talk about sports." So I'm the same way as Dan, that other than watching a little bit of college football to keep a little bit of interest, and I will go to shake some babies and kiss some hands during a Bears game just to strum up some business and see some familiar faces. But to be honest with you, I was watching the game yesterday. We had a club meeting. I could care less about baseball. I just don't. I'm just done.
Oh, I'm excited about baseball.
Well, that's good, and I'm glad for you in the Chicago. Go ahead and tell people what you have going on this weekend.
We've got a big. I'm actually at work, opening the kitchen this morning because we're a little short-handed. But we've got a big tattoo convention at the Wisconsin Center here. But tomorrow, the Cubs are coming to town to play the Brewers game 1.
When is the first game?
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Yes.
They had not announced when I went to bed last night. They had not set the time, so I don't know what time of day it is. But
is it a 5-game series, Dan?
I was told there'd be no sports questions today.
Is there a 5-game series? Because it was a 3-game series.
Has been
I think it's 3.
The wild card is 3. I think it's 7 now. I think it goes.
So that's at least 4. Here's how I look at this, and for Joe, who's not as old as us, he doesn't understand, and Dan does. And I'm not talking about sports. I'm talking about the impact of sports. When Michael Jordan and the Bulls made the playoffs and they started going to games 6, everybody went out every single night. And it was a boom for the local industry. So you own a place that serves booze and food, and the Cubs are going to have at least 4 games, possibly 7. That is 4 to 7 paychecks that you would not have gotten.
Well, we don't. The people have changed, right? They don't go out and watch games in bars as much as they used to. Everybody has a big TV at their house. What we'll see tomorrow in Dyer, we'll have a lot more carry out. So that's one thing that's one way that the business has shifted post COVID is everybody got used to doing takeout. And so where pre-COVID, takeout might have been 5% of our business, in Dyer it's close to 20 now, which is fairly significant. You'll get some people to come in and watch, but it's the takeout. It's the same thing with football. I mean, the first few years we were in Dyer, we had the NFL ticket, and then I realized, there's only about the same 3 guys that are coming in to watch, the Steelers. It's not worth it. We just show what's on TV. You get the local games. But I for us up here, the Cubs and the Cardinals travel better than anybody else to Milwaukee. And so I can only imagine with a playoff game that I'm sure I haven't gone over to the hotel and checked their occupancy, but I'm sure it's sold out. It was close to sold out earlier in the week. Just with this big convention going on, there's about 10,000 people at a tattoo convention across the street.
Every single kid whose name is Biff and Kip will be in Milwaukee with their parents taking them to the Cubs game and spending lots of money, which is good for the economy. Brent, we've been bouncing around. Dan, do you have some questions for this guy?
It's a 5-game series, according to Jed TV sports director Sam Michael.
5?
It's a 5-game series. I thought it was because I have a memory 20 years ago when the White Sox beat Boston in the divisional round. That's the last one I watched.
That's right, because it goes 2-2-1, right? Because we have a Saturday and a Monday game here, which is great to have a game on a Monday up in Milwaukee, and then they'll do 2 in Wrigley, and if the 5th game is necessary, they come back to Milwaukee.
The turning point of that series in Boston was when El Duque comes in with the bases loaded and no outs and gets out with no runs scored.
Okay, name the 3 Red Sox hitters he got out. Oh, my goodness.
Some big names.
Oh, yeah. He got
Kevin Millar.
Kevin Millar. That's a Red Sox. Tony Graffinino was one of them. I believe the catcher, and it was not Rich. Was it Rich Gedman who was their catcher? Maybe he was another one. I don't know. And I think Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon.
Yeah, I was in Boston on that Friday night when the Sockos clinched. Lovely Sherry Bradkey and I down near the Sox.
Did you guys bullpen. Did you guys hit the town, Boston, after that?
We went to the White Sox post-game party. I don't mean to sound like a snob.
Whoa, well, looky you.
Yeah, boy, oh boy, I tell you something. I had a man crush on A.J. Przinsky, and I was looking at A.J. standing there tall at 6'3" or 6'4" in his blue jeans and nice.
Dan, it's okay if you come out.
And I thought about, man, it'd be okay if Sherry wanted to slip away with him for a little while, I'd have to give her a hall pass.
He's a large man.
I don't know about penally, but
no, I'm just talking about. I was
penally?
lucky enough to be invited about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, maybe right before my heart, 6 years ago, to opening day and sit in the box right next to Reinsdorf's box. Mm-hmm. And the one mistake I made, I opened up the door and Jesse White's talking to Reinsdorf. I was going to take a picture, but ask for a picture. I didn't. And then I go down the hallway and open up the door, and who's the gentleman standing in front of the urinal is one A.J. Przinsky.
Did you peek?
I didn't peek, and
I would have peeked.
But if all things are proportionate, we'll leave it at that. And so, getting back, what is it that you want to ask this fine gentleman, Dan? If you had questions to ask of this man,
ask of Brent.
Of Brent,
I would ask Brent if he would like to, because even though I think December is going to be a great NFL month, particularly in the NFC North, the way early returns are. I hope that the week of December 7th, famous day, in American history, maybe the darkest day in our country's history, 1941, or you could argue September 11th of 01. I don't think there's any candidate that would replace those two. Anyway, and my first divorce was on December 7th. The dissolution decree came on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor appropriately because I got blown up in that one. Yeah,
Dan, how do you feel about that?
So where was I going here? There was a point at the beginning of this dissertation. I can't remember what it was.
Well, as Dan figures
the week of December 7th. It is the 40th anniversary of the Super Bowl Bears, and they play the Packers on Sunday the 7th. And I would propose to Brent that I finally break my cherry on the Milwaukee location and do an appearance or two that week. I'll be coming home from Arizona that week, maybe as early as Thanksgiving, and staying till Bears-Packers, and then going back home to Arizona, soon to be my winter home, and do some stuff. We could get Kenny Stills, who labeled Matt Suey on the sideline in '85. We'll get Suey and Kenny Stills to show up. We'll do a big Packers-Bears.
Is that
stuff.
a 12 or a 3 o'clock, or they're leaving
Let's not complicate it or ask about the format of the ALDS again. I don't want to get too.
Well, no, I'm just saying that
I
am one of those people that believe the 12 o'clock start is better. But they don't. They change the games around based off how popular their games are. It could be if the Bears continue to win that it's going to be a meaningful game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a meaningful game anyway because it's the 40th anniversary. You guys can handle that on a business side. Brent, any last words from you as we let you go? We're going to take a break and then
Jim's here.
I'm going to talk. Go ahead, Brent.
I had one question for Dan, and I'll hang up and listen. I wanted to hear Dan's perspective on the now it looks like a certainty. It was moved to Arlington. Right? I mean, of course, I guess it's far from a certainty because they said they were going to pay for it. Now they've asked for $1 billion.
They've asked for $855 million.
Yeah, this is going to go into 2026, and I will be surprised if the Bears and the city can get this done in the entire upcoming calendar year. It's taken so much. Why? It's just the same as believing in the Bears quarterbacks. Why would I believe after all these years they're going to solve their stadium problem? It's been a problem since the 80s when they didn't know what to do with the field, which they say has a low water table. And when they went to when they finally pulled out that awful AstroTurf after the 87 season, Peyton's last, unfortunately, the guy takes a pounding on that concrete for 13 years and Neil Anderson gets the nice grass. But they couldn't figure out how to keep the field in shape. And we talked about that for decades on the air in Chicago. Why is Soldier Field unplayable? Why are NFL teams considering not coming out of the locker room in a preseason game? And this happened again when they cut the ribbon on the new facility.
It's like they're at the vet.
And it was terrible.
It's like they're at the vet. Yeah, talk to Wendell.
Wendell
My
Davis.
wife worked with Wendell Davis.
And he's got a lovely
and Thomas
wife.
Sanders. I've been to his house in Longview. So
that's big.
Yes, and so here's the deal. We're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, I want to talk to Dan. I want to talk a little bit about free speech. We will finish the story. I actually think that the Bears are gone. There's a perfect storm as to when they were looking to move. One, they had land that they could buy in Arlington Heights, which they did. So they actually, instead of having a straw purchase like they did in 1995 with the Gary Bears or whatever they did. Okay, my buddy was the president of Lake County Council at the time and got wined and dined in their luxury box over there and used this as a straw purchaser before they eventually ended up doing the major construction and renovation of Soldier Field. They actually have a place, so they can go. One would argue that since less people want to go to the downtown, they want to go to Arlington Heights. Here's the biggest part of that. You have a mayor right now that they're $1.2 billion cut, $750 million cut in schools behind deficit. You think that he can go to the city of Chicago, to the people of Chicago right now, and say they're not going to solve that, but they're going to give a billionaire family, it just came out, the Bears are worth the most, $8 to $9 billion, and they need help? We can't solve our issues, but they need help?
Well,
We'll get to that. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and
All
talk about that. You're listening to Dave Kusiak Show on WJOB 1230 and 104.7 FM from the beautiful Strachan Van Til Food Market Studios.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
But it's time. You gotta catch up.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back.
I'll see you in a minute.
Anything Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy?
Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You guys are right. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Dave Kusiak Show at 7:45:15 in front of 8 o'clock on this first Friday of October. Brent, if you're listening, next Friday, you and Danny Mack should get together because I need a fill-in. I'm going to Destin. Next. I'm leaving Tuesday. So, Dan, if you can hear me, I'll leave that. It's my job to fill my day. Next Friday, if Brent's in, you two should do the show. I'm going to Destin for 5 days. I don't want to be bothered. I'm trying to get my mental therapy
Oh, boy.
for those people. I'm serious.
You're
I've been
going to do
working.
that in 5 days?
I'm burnt right now, man. It's been a long year, and I need 5 days. I need some mental therapy. Please, excuse me, 219-845. Councilman Mark Kalwinski wants to call in. We're going to go to the phone lines. It's open line Friday. Because Dan McNeil can talk about anything, I can talk about anything. I do want to get into free speech with Dan. Dan has been burnt by that. So I will sit and tell all those people that sit and talk about free speech, that's just a bunch of hooey.
Hooey.
Because you can have free speech, Dan, but the fact is that you will pay the price for the free speech. No one prevents the price to be paid. That's a little prelude. But let's go to the phone lines and clear these up there. No one, Joe? So Councilman Kalwinski, 219-845-1100. If you want to call in, he wants to talk about an event that's coming up. Very near and dear. It's Polish heritage. There's two types of people in this world. Those who are Polish, those who wish they could be. There's two types of people in the world. Those who are Polish, born on the south side of East Chicago, and those who wish they could be. I happen to be both. Okay? Joe, that's a big thing. You understand that? Look at him. You have to speak slowly to Andrean grads. You know what I'm saying? It takes them just a little bit longer, Dan. Like you're a Highland Trojan, right? You get that pretty good. Those Andrean guys, you gotta just speak a little slower.
My buddy
like
Tim
he's enjoying
Sirkovich.
my muffin.
You're eating it. Oh, you're eating it.
I'm sorry.
No, I left them out for everybody. So
oh, no, that's yours. Eat it.
Yeah,
it's yours.
That's all
I'm
right.
just saying someone's enjoying the Andrean muffin.
Oh, he said it's an Andrean muffin.
It's an
you can
Andrean
eat
muffin.
that. He's not
You
saying
can
you
eat it,
can't
but
eat
it's
it.
an Andrean
But then
muffin.
take a shot at him, please.
Is Klawinski on the air or no? We can't get him on the air?
He's calling in.
Okay, I thought.
It was a last-minute throw-in. He always has something to talk about, and I always would love to have the councilman. Please enjoy your muffin. He's saying that it's an...
No, that's all right. I'd rather talk to you and Brent. And
Brent is no longer with us.
Oh.
I want to hear your Sirkovich story.
Tim Sirkovich, who was a co-captain on our 78 unbeaten team, 22 zip winners over Jim Deedlow's Munster Mustangs on October 7th of 78. I wanted to make it 29-0 and add one more, but Coach Shelbourne was friends with Coach Friend. I wouldn't have played the next week.
I heard that interview when you had Coach Shelburne in,
Shelby,
and he told you straight up that you knew what the ramifications were going to be. I got a feeling you were going to try to do it anyway.
I was too loyal to Coach. I was a disciple of my high school football coach. I really was. I wasn't going to buck anything he said.
Tonight is the Battle of the Bridge, my friend.
Oh, is it tonight?
It's tonight.
I got the Man Cubs tonight, Patrick and Andrew. That's an interesting proposition. And I would love to come in next Friday with Brent to help fill in for you, but I'm boobs up for Arizona next Friday morning. We close on the house Thursday, and I'll have a U-Haul hitched up to my
You driving?
SUV. Yeah, I'm going to be living there, so I need to tow some goodies out there.
So Danny Mac leaving the region. Before we get into
temporarily.
We are waiting for Councilman Mark Kelwinski. Now's the time to call in, 219-845-1100. Good morning. You're live in the air.
Good morning. Are you there?
I am, and you are too. Let's get right to it, Councilman. First of all, thank you for calling in. We've got some information that we need to get out to the listening audience.
Thank you. Always enjoy listening to McNeil. He's one of my favorite announcers. He does it better than anybody, so I hate to interrupt, so I'll be quick. Want to let you know that this weekend we're celebrating the Polish American Heritage Month, which is all of October, and we're doing that. This is our 30th annual anniversary celebration. So Hammond and Cal City both have Pulaski parks in them, and Jerry Tarka, the treasurer in Cal City, has been doing this for 30 years, and we got on board when we redid our monument here at the park and have been doing this since I've been in office. So here's the rundown for the weekend because it's really exciting. Saturday, tomorrow, October 4th, there's a 1 p.m. wreath-laying ceremony at Pulaski Park. Old people in the neighborhood know it as Douglas Park, at 3728 Sheffield. We'll be having a free concert after the wreath-laying, featuring the music of the Easy Tones at the shelter in the park. It's free. Just bring your lawn chairs. That'll go from 2 till about 5, and, of course, Cavalier Inn will have wonderful Polish food for purchase at the park if you're hungry and or thirsty.
Can you bring a little bit of Yeji on the side there, Councilman, without telling anybody? Is that approved or no?
Well, it's a park, so I don't know what people might be bringing. I will have some cold pops. We'll call them Pepsis.
I know Wally Kasperzicki will have some cold pops at Cavalier. Fried chicken and sausage. You guys pass the bowls around.
That's correct.
Wally is he's a proud Polak, and
yes,
he's a proud Bishop Knoll Warrior and Northwestern Wildcat.
Yes, he is. He's played at Dyke Stadium before. And turned his back on Notre Dame in making that decision in the 70s to go play, which turned a lot of people's head in Northwest Indiana. Wally, still very proud Wildcat as we speak.
He definitely is. And my family goes way back with Wally's because Wally's dad sponsored my family over from Europe. And we're always going to be indebted to him as over 400 other families in the neighborhood were sponsored by him as well. So there's a real connection between the neighborhood and the Cavalier Inn and the Kasprickis because of what they've done for a lot of people and sponsoring them the right way. Finding housing for my family, my dad, finding a job for my dad, and then cutting them loose. And my dad paid him back by being a good soldier and going to the CAF for food and beverage.
That was the part of the discussion, Councilman, that's part of the discussion that when I asked Brent earlier, and we'll get into this later in the program, that's something that people forget to bring up about immigration and legal immigration. Exactly what you said, is that you were sponsored, you came over here, you were on your best behavior, it was an honor to be a part of this, you had a job, you had a place to stay. St. Casimir's was the center of that area, just like St. Stanislaus, which just closed up 2 Sundays ago, for 125 years on the south side of East Chicago, was the place that you went. And if you did act up, it was an embarrassment to your family because the ability to come to the greatest country in the world, you would not have thrown that opportunity away. But we'll get into that later. Let's continue the good things that will be coming on to celebrate our heritage this weekend.
So Saturday we'll have the young Polish dance group out of Maryville, and they'll be singing the national anthem, the American national anthem and the Polish national anthem, and recite a little bit of poetry and welcome the Polish consulate to the wreath-laying ceremony as well. So it's a big deal. We have some high rollers there, and when I had difficulty getting electricity at the park here, Jerry stepped up and the city, Calumet City, and provided generators so that we can have music that can be heard, and so that the speeches, which will be short, can be heard as well. So that's Saturday. Let me go into Sunday because now we shift to Calumet City and their Pulaski Park. And first of all, it starts with a 10 a.m. Roman Catholic Mass at St. Andrew's, the Apostle Church in Cal City. Then we have a wreath-laying ceremony at Pulaski Park in Calumet City, which is right across the street from City Hall there. 12 o'clock, there's a luncheon and program at the VFW at 8140, it's VFW 8141 at 664 Hirsch Avenue, and it's an all-you-can-eat Polish buffet catered by the Cavalier Inn, and if anybody needs tickets, they can call the council office, 853-6404, and leave a message, and I'll get back to them. And we're also having a young adult Polish dance group that will do some Polish dancing in uniform or in dress right after the dinner. And then we're going to have music by Jenny O, which has been our group for that Sunday for the last 30 years. Jenny O and the Next Steps. Donation for the buffet, and that celebration is $30 in advance. No carryouts available. It's dine-in only, and no tickets sold at the door because that just becomes a mess. And Dave, if you can get free, I'll get your ticket for you.
I think I'm going to try to make Saturday because we're leaving Tuesday, and I got a lot of things to do. But Saturday at Douglas Park or Pulaski Park on Indiana. What time does that start? Because I'm going to see if I could take my grandson. We love to show him some of our culture, some of his culture and our culture, and share together with 2 or 3 generations.
The wreath-laying ceremony at the corner where the monument is at 1 o'clock, and that should be done before 2, and the free concert in the park will start right after we're done.
I think we're gonna aim for that and take some chairs. Councilman, I want to tell you that last Monday we were in your district. Your district, you live in my district. So my wife said we want to take my grandson to the beach. I worked until about 2 o'clock. We jumped in the car, drove to right by the boat in Hammond, and then went to the Hammond Marina. And there was 2 or 3. I paid $10. I thought that was a nominal fee to pay for out of city, although one would argue that I pay more taxes than most Hammond residents by owning 2 businesses and paying $18,000 a year in taxes. But I'll leave that alone. I paid my $10 with a smile on my face.
Well, you almost left it
alone. I almost left it alone. And then we went and took our stuff and sat there and enjoyed. It was almost 90 degrees, high of 89. I met 2 or 3 people. In fact, I met someone from here, from Purdue. It was very, very nice, and I think you're going to have a nice weekend. There are no lifeguards on watch, but with it being high of 85, 86, and sunny these next 2 days, I think you're going to see some people at the beach, and I want to say that we enjoyed ourselves, and that is in your district, my friend.
Absolutely. I enjoy it there, too. You know, they have a little dog beach there, too, so you can bring your dog as well.
We lost our little Maya, but we may bring Boomy. We've named him after Boomer Sooners, my friend. And so that's my daughter's dog. And so the other thing is I didn't know this, and I was talking to Jeff Smith when I was at the Polka Fest during Festival of Lakes. I did not realize that Milan had retired and Jeff Smith is now in charge of the marina. Or what is that? Can you make an announcement?
Well, not exactly. Not exactly. Milan is now over the sanitary district.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they moved him.
Yeah. So Milan is doing a great job over there, and Jeff's doing a stellar job at the port or the marina with the Port Authority Board. And, Milan continues. He's still a big contributor to the city of Hammond, and Jeff is too, not as a fireman, but now as the director of the Hammond Marina.
Councilman, I appreciate you calling in. Look to see you tomorrow and enjoy some of our heritage together. And here's the other thing for people like Dan and others. We love to share our heritage, so please come on out. Bring a chair. You're going to listen to some nice music. There's always good food with Cavalier Inn, and there's always good people. And it's going to be a little bit warm, so make sure that you bring yourself something to drink that's nice and with ice cubes in it, that kind of thing. And we'll all enjoy a nice day. I'll guarantee you one thing. If you're part of our group, we have zero desire to stab anyone or shoot anybody. I will say one thing, though. If you try to take the last kielbasa or the last gołąbki or the last pierogi, you may get your hand stabbed with a fork. That'd be the only stabbing that would take place at that point. So thank you very much for keeping us in tune, as always, as to what's going on in the city of Hammond and in your district.
Thank you, Dave. Sorry to interrupt, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All righty. Dan, did you just get that compliment? He said you were the best. You heard that.
The best at what? I don't know.
Tell people who you are. This is called the transition.
My name is Dan. I'm 64 years old. I'm a Virgo. My hobbies are water surfing and going to bullfights on acid. I'm a Highland guy who wanted to do radio and write since I was 8 years old, and I was trained well at Highland High School by my journalism advisor, Barbara Mayer. Got some great guidance at Ball State University, public education, $17K a year. Thank you very much. And the Hammond Times, Chet Kopic, WLUP at the Loop, and helped build the Score in '92. Worked there 3 different times, a total of 14-plus years. Worked at ESPN 1000, 01 through 09. Founded the Mac Yurko and Harry Show, also known as the Afternoon Saloon.
We're number one for how many of those 9 years?
We took off after 2 years. The first 2 years were pretty dreadful. There was some ratings success, but we didn't really get to the top until late 04, early 05. And then we had a 4 or 5 year run where we just kicked the crap out of everybody, including.
I ran in one time at Sheffield when you guys did a remote.
I remember was during the Sox series against the Astros.
I was working as I do and listening, and you guys were saying you were there. I literally ran in and I don't know. I'm sure it was packed, but I remember saying hello. And so you have the background of understanding what it's like to be the number one guy in the Chicagoland area when radio was really, really successful.
Yeah.
How I want to ask you a question about free speech because you've been burnt several times. And so I hear people say all the time that it's the topic du jour because of Jimmy Kimmel or whatever. Whether you can speak freely. So you did many times. You were paid by someone, correct? I mean, when you were on, you were working for somebody when you were speaking?
Yeah, yes, I was always representing a radio station.
So what's your rub when you feel when people say that you have the right to say whatever you want?
I did have the right to say whatever I wanted. I had the right to tweet what I tweeted about NBC anchor Maria Taylor, then with ESPN during a Monday Night Football broadcast. I had the right to tweet that. And the radio outfit I worked for at the time, it was Entercom. And now what do they call it? Odyssey now? I don't know, trading at 60 cents a share or something. They had the right to dismiss me for upsetting the apple cart during cancel culture. I was not denied my right to free speech.
But you were also given the consequence of what you said.
Yeah, and you know what? I should have recognized that before I put my PBR and weed muscles on the keys.
So you know what was interesting about this, and I've said this before, it wasn't that night, but I think Maria Taylor was doing college or whatever it was earlier. I am not making this up. It was right before that. My wife's not really, she could care less if I have sports on or not. But she's not dumb to sports. I mean, her and Kelly, she literally said to me,
I bet I know the word
she said, "What is this woman dressed for?" Mm-hmm. Okay, so Maria Taylor, who's now national, I think NBC of the night or whatever it is, game of the week or Sunday night or whatever the hell it is. My wife literally said that lady looks like she's dressed to go to a nightclub.
Yeah,
she
was dressed atypically of a Monday Night Football reporter. And in my effort to get the quick laugh, I tweeted something that was considered offensive.
To a woman, a young woman.
Well, it was considered misogynistic, which it wasn't. It was edgy. What I tweeted exactly was, is this a Monday Night Football sideline reporter or the AVN award show master of ceremonies? AVN stands for Adult Video News. And if you've ever seen the Adult Video News annual awards ceremony, which I have, you would know that the hosts dress in nice, revealing clothes. And that's what Maria was wearing. You've never
almost
seen...
like a Tony or a...
She was showing a lot of skin. It wasn't offensive to me, but what your wife thought, what a lot of women I went to college with who were broadcasters, and in the case of Valerie Johnson Toronto, a wannabe sports broadcaster, who was told by one of our professors, I learned years later, that women have no place on a sideline, and I wish I would have known that in 84 and 85 when Dr. Weibel was one of my advisors, too. I would have had speaks with him in Mongoese, because that's not what you tell a student in 1984 or in 1924.
Or 2024.
Well, certainly not at this point, you would think. But, no, it was atypical. But, perception is everything. It shouldn't be, but it is.
But at the time, you're 59-ish.
I was exactly
You were 59, and you're a white guy during cancel culture, and you made a statement about a young African-American woman. You were done because of that.
Well, yes, because everybody perceived me to be saying she looks like a porn star, and what I wrote exactly was host or MC of the award show. I never said anything about her lacking integrity. I never said anything about her performing in those pictures. Never. But perception wins. Perception wins in politics and now in business. And I was stupid for tweeting that on the heels of Harvey Weinstein and everything else that was going on. You had a country that was blowing up out of its mind because of COVID-19. Remember when we called it COVID-19? The coronavirus is sweeping America, and none of us knew what to do. So we all got mad about things that were out of our control, and people waited in the weeds for somebody to screw up so they could look for their pound of flesh. I am not a victim of cancel culture. I'm a victim of my own stupidity for not using a social media condom during a time when I knew it was necessary.
So the point of my question and the point of your answer is that in 219-845-1100, if you'd like to talk to Dan McNeil, this will get turned into a podcast. I've been told every time I have a guest, and this will be called the Legends Podcast because you are a legendary sports radio personality, and you were there during the heyday of it, and you have a perspective that is second to none because of what you've gone through. And so 219-845-1100, and it is always par for the course when you're talking about free speech, and I listen from time to time here and others in other stations. You have the ability to say whatever you want. If you work for someone and or society, they have the ability to smack you around after you said it. So, and I say this as an owner of a company, and I've said this to my guys. if you're going to someone's house, you have the right to have your thought process about Trump or anything else in the world. That doesn't mean my customer needs to hear that.
Right.
You're there to do a kitchen or do a roof.
Yeah.
They're not asking for your opinion about that.
Right.
Now, when you're on your own time, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the rub. And then the thing becomes here, same thing with me. You don't think I've lost business? And I'll leave you before we go to break. I said something negative. They're doing this thing between Hammond and Cal City. This goes back 20 years ago when Hammond built that little wall. And I said that the first thing I'm going to do with the wall is take my truck and drive over it. I was being facetious. Before I was off the air, a lover of the city of Hammond calls my wife, and my wife was personally ran her own business, said, you can kiss your orders with me away because of your husband's viewpoint of this wall, because she was a big Team Hammond person. So she said, I don't even know what you're talking about, number one, because much like, I don't know if your wife listened, my wife used to think me being on the radio was time away from her, so she didn't have to listen to me. So why would she listen to me? Because I'm there all the time. And so she didn't even know what I said. She calls me and says, what the hell did you do? You cost me a client. I said, well, I was just being me. And so that's free speech. Now, I had the right to say that. And the lady that was doing business with my wife had the right to say, I'm not doing business with you because you feel this way about something that I like. That's called adulthood. Correct? You don't have to like it, but it's the world we're in.
Yes, it is the world we're in.
I mean, people that don't like what Target's done with DEI are boycotting Target. People that don't like ESPN or they didn't like ABC are either listening to or boycotting. That's your right.
Yeah. You know what I'm tired of as much as anything? I'm tired of people announcing what they're done with. I'm really exhausted from all the people who have thoughts on every company that exists, whether they will, or every entity, a governmental entity, education. Everybody has their expert opinion that is non-negotiable, and I'm tired of all of it. This black and white world we live in, I don't care what people are done with anymore. I don't like to talk about what I'm done with. There is a there's a fast food company that did an anti-gay campaign a few years ago, and they offered discounted sandwiches to people who oppose gay marriage. And people lined up at this restaurant around the country. It was maybe 15 years ago. You probably remember it, and I don't want to give the restaurant any publicity.
Is it the chicken joint?
It might be.
It's closed on Sundays?
I have no idea. I've never been in one of these. I've been in one once, and it was before I got this news that they support anti-gay movement. And I don't agree with that, and I don't live in that world. And I have never walked in that restaurant since, and I'm told the food is very good. I don't care how good it is. I can make chicken at home. Oops.
So what's his name? So Michael Jordan famously said,
"Spin and bucket," and it's not Popeyes because they have.
It was Chick-fil-A. So here's the deal. Michael Jordan famously said, I want to say it might have been '89, and he famously said Republicans buy shoes too. And he took a lot of heat from the African American community because a long line of very successful African American athletes felt that they had to be involved in this movement of civil rights movement and others. And Michael Jordan just said, I don't have to be involved with that. That's not my responsibility. Mm-hmm. I can live my life and be a businessman. And I think he's okay with that. You can like both. Or not like both. And we're going to take a break here, but this drives me nuts about the hypocrisy of it all. You can't say that ABC has the right to not put Kimmel on if you're a Republican, and then say the NFL doesn't have the right to put Baby Boop on for their halftime show. Because it's their business.
Who is Baby Boop, by the way?
The guy that's taking, what's his name?
Is he doing the halftime entertainment?
Don't know who he is. Never heard a song. Could care less.
Annual topic. I love
and so
away from who cares.
I don't care.
The Super Bowl.
I mean, but I'm just saying that if one of my best friends says, it's a great line. One of my best friends, Don Kolowski, says, "Dave, I love when you're on the radio because I can turn you off." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the reality of that is, if you don't like it, go get food.
Yes.
If you don't like it, turn another station on that day.
Smoke.
Go have a
Punch the
smoke.
button.
Go do whatever you want to do. It's okay. The world's going to be okay. Whoever they put as the halftime show.
Yeah. Yeah, and the halftime show is always terrible anyway because it's so compromised because you have professional musicians being put in a terrible situation to immediately get on stage. They're under enormous pressure to make it a visual presentation because it's being televised to 125 million people. And by the way, I always go over on the estimated audience for a Super Bowl. You should too.
It's brought you a few dead presidents.
In this NFL that wasn't going to survive because of Colin Kaepernick protesting police violence and all the other reasons the NFL is going to fail and the officiating sucks and I'm done with this league. Yeah, the viewership and fantasy football participation go up every year. There was one fallback, I think, about 5 years ago, a market correction of a single-digit percentage, and people celebrated like the NFL is losing its legs. And then it just comes back and steps on America's throat again.
On that note, we're going to take a break. They own a day of the week.
Yes,
and
they do.
And that comes from the
Concussion.
movie Concussion. They own a day of the week. We're going to talk. I want to ask you about this, and it doesn't have to be sports related. 219-845-1100. We can talk about others. It's more bigger than sports, but I want your take. I don't know if you've caught it. My daughter's a really, really big fan of the WNBA, and one of the largest stars taking on its commissioner and the overall essence of the sport. I think it's very interesting, more than that it's sports. It's interesting in the business realm as well. So we'll talk about that and other things, or whatever you want to talk about, because it's an open line Friday. You're listening to Dave Kusiak Show. He's Dan McNeil. It's called The Legend of Dan McNeil, because everything's going to have it's going to have a name, and I got to give a name to it, because when I have a guest, it's turned into a podcast.
You know what legend is an adjective for?
No.
I'm sorry, a synonym for?
No.
Out of work.
Out of work?
Unemployed.
Don't name a field after me, because I always say this, are you okay?
Yeah,
like Brian
exactly.
Jennings, who we know. They named a field after him, Griffith. I said, are you okay? Because normally when they name a field after you, you're going to die.
I'll go the other way on that, because Ken Seipelt, who was Highland's first football coach, was dying of ALS, and I wrote a column in the Times saying, name the football field after him now while he's alive.
They did that with John Friend. Munster did that with John Friend as well.
So they can be recognized while they can enjoy it.
The late John Friend was able to do that. We'll take a short break, and then we'll go as long as Dan wants to. If not, it'll be 9 o'clock, and you can talk to him, or you can talk about anything.
It's going to be 9 o'clock anyway.
Stick around for more WJOB.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Looking for a place to enjoy great food and great games? Head to Doc's Barbecue in Dyer. Indulge in Southern-style hickory smoked meats served in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Want to catch the latest local Jet TV basketball games? Just ask and they'll have it on one of their 15 big-screen TVs. Whether you're here for the food, the fun, or the hoops, Doc's has something for everyone. Stop by Doc's Smokehouse on Calumet Avenue in Dyer, where flavor and sports come together.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
Want to live life at max volume? Then look no further than Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana. With over 1,700 slots, 80 table games, live entertainment, and 5 restaurants which span a wide range of culinary genres, we are sure to have something for everyone. Whether you want to indulge in a savory dish at Council Oaks Steaks and Seafood, or take in dinner and live music at the world-renowned Hard Rock Cafe. Amplify your entertainment experience at Hard Rock Casino Northern Indiana, just off Exit 6, I-8094. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9 with
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Dave Kusiak Show. It is producer Joe. Everyone is out of the office right now, so I guess what I will do for everybody is I will do traffic and weather, since we did not go over it at all today. You're gonna have to also forgive. You're gonna have to forgive me for the traffic, because everybody knows that it's not my greatest strength, but I will start with weather for y'all. Hello. Okay, so today is Friday, October 3rd. Finally into October. Does not feel as such, though. It is going to be a high of 88, so it's going to be really hot, and there's going to be some drought. Saturday, it'll be much of the same, also a high of 88, and very warm with no clouds, and Sunday will be a high of 85 with, again, no clouds. So it is going to be a hot one this weekend, folks. I'm not sure why it's happening in the middle of October, but it is. So be prepared and wear your sunscreen. Oh, here comes Dave. So I am going to, I'll do traffic real quick for everybody. We have some backup on the Stevenson Expressway North and south. North kind of closer to hometown and downtown, while the south you are getting traffic near LaGrange. Also and then on the Eisenhower west and east, you're going to be getting traffic going both ways again by Cicero and Oak Park. And pretty much as of right now, there's a light backup on 94 west heading out of Dalton into the city, and I think that is pretty much about it for now. So hope you enjoyed this little segment with me, and we'll swing it right back to Kusiak.
Joe, we always enjoy you, brother. I mean, it's important. How do you feel?
How I feel? I feel like I'm finally waking up.
So, I mean, it's important. I'm like, when one of our listeners, I want to thank all those people. I've had multiple listeners over the last couple weeks. When they see me, they come up and say hello. Dan's coming in. I do want to say one thing, because I've said before, I enjoy doing this. This is not how I make my living. And to do this for 23 years is going to be a top 10 thing in my life. I have grown with you people. You people, my kids are 32 and 29. I've been doing this for 23 years, so do the math on that. You guys saw when my kids graduated from St. Tom's, graduated from Bishop Noel, graduated from college. You were there for the quinceañeras. You were there for a wedding. You were there for them growing up. You were there for all the things that I did in my business life, all the coat drives, the food drives, all the stuff that we've done. And I just want to tell you that it's been an honor of my lifetime to be able to spend time with you. It's an honor of my lifetime when I was walking into Menards yesterday or 2 days ago, and Mike, you know who you are, you listen, you came up to me and said, I'm looking forward to listening to you on Friday. When I was at Griffith Fest at the Central Park and listening to music and people come up to me, I enjoy that. I appreciate it. We're family. And I don't think I say that enough, that you people are a part of my life, and you give me and Dan, you're going through this, you need to know what it is that is, when you wake up every day, I call my grandson renewed purpose, because I need purpose every day. and a 20-month-old is renewed purpose. Looking at my 29 and 32-year-olds, renewed purpose. Looking at my wife's renewed purpose. Spending time with my 86-year-old mother-in-law who came over on 2 days ago, and we had dinner together, understanding that her and her sister, Aunt Martha, are going through health issues and understand that they're 86 and 87 and that that's the perspective where they're at in life. And being able to have 4 generations together and go to Hispanic Night in Griffith, that's important. Okay? I want to thank you. I don't want to diminish that. And the right to call in and say you like me or dislike me, that's okay. That's what this region is about. That's what these stations are about. Let's do some of that. 219-845-1100. We have a legend in the business. Let's go to the phone lines, and then I want to get to this conversation. I don't listen to this station every day. I've been honest. I do listen to Ray Stevens and Nick Gale. The last 2 days he had on Governor Mike Braun, which was a very good interview. He's running, caught in traffic, caught the last 10 minutes of the program. The day before, it's about 15, 20 minutes. He had Kevin Matthews on. I want to talk about that as well with you before we let you go today. But let's go to the phone lines, 219-845-1100.
Hey, Dave, Vinny, how you doing?
What up, Vinny?
Hey, Mr. McNeil, how are you, sir?
Good, sir. Everything is good in my world. Thank you for asking. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Mr. McNeil, I listen to you on other sports stations and everything. My question, with the female side, reporters, dressing up, provocative. I enjoy watching the sideline reporters, Pam Oliver and Michelle Tafoya, and they dress appropriate. What changed, Mr. McNeil, from Michelle Tafoya, Pam Oliver? What changed from them until now?
The only answer I can give you is the industry gave people who were on the sidelines more flexibility in their wardrobe choices and did not govern it as conservatively as they had in the past. That's my honest answer. That's what made that change. Nothing more than that.
And Vinny, I think that TV first of all, we have to understand that it's entertainment. And for my friends and I have many friends that are liberal or consider themselves progressives, and they get their hair on fire when certain things happen, and that's their right to do so. But what I do like to point out to them is it's nothing new for good-looking people or people that have very attractive bodies to be highlighted, okay? All you have to do is look at Hollywood.
It's okay.
It's
physical attractiveness as a weapon. That's okay.
And it also goes into play in the business world. Those individuals that look good, tall, dark, and handsome, that represent their company, that are able to go out there and get clients and get work, it's a plus. Okay, yeah. You represent a company. I mean, it goes back to I remember Karl Rove saying to Fox, he was fighting with the vice president, the girl from Alaska, I forget, Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin looked at him and said, "Well, if you know so much, why didn't you become the president or vice president?" He looked at her and he said, "Because I'm bald and fat." And so one would say that even Mitch Daniels, who the Republican Party was looking for to try to be the president of the United States, and I would dare say had the resume to do so.
FDR never would have been elected had there been television in his era because he was in a wheelchair.
Because he was in a wheelchair. So to sit and say that doesn't matter, it does. It does. And they do know this. And people like looking at attractive people. That's my little...
Yeah, I think it's okay, and thank you for calling, and you sound like a supporter, and I appreciate that. But again, it's just change, and we don't have to like it, but we have to live by it.
I mean, I like to buy jeans that Beyonce wears, and I like to buy jeans that this other young white girl wears.
You wouldn't fit in.
I wouldn't fit in them, but don't you think Beyonce is one of the most beautiful people in the world?
Yes, she is.
And thank you very much. So let's Vinny, thanks for the call. But just ending on that, I think that she's worth $1 billion because she can sing, dance, and she looks great.
Yeah, looking good is okay, and it's just like when you have, when attractive people who spend time in the gym are doing themselves an enormous service, because we all tend to keep our eyes on things we want, and we all have, I think, not all of us, but many of us have similar ideas as to what is attractive, whether it's by conventional standards or not, and television plays by those rules. Look, I did not objectify in that tweet some random person who works at a food store behind the, at Whole Foods. I didn't criticize a woman I criticized the wardrobe choice, edgy as it was, of a woman who was on one of the biggest stages in sports broadcasting, Monday Night Football. That's an enormous stage. That is not objectifying anybody. And I would have said the same thing or tweeted the same thing had Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football shown up in a sleeveless leather vest that was unbuttoned the following morning. I would have said the same thing about him. Why doesn't he just get a job at Chippendales or the Thunder Down Under?
Because time and place.
You can't say that, what I said. And I understand why I was fired. And I don't harbor.
And you were making pretty good money, weren't you?
Not at that time, no. Not comparatively.
Do you mind saying what the most you ever made a year was?
Yes, I do mind.
Okay.
I made good money. I'd rather not say,
Okay. 219-845-1100. You have Dan. A question for him. We could talk about anything. Do we still have some calls? Let's go to him. Good morning. You're live in the air.
Hey, Dave. Hi, Dan.
Hi there.
How you doing, man?
Good. How much money did you make in your best year?
Yeah, why don't I just give you my debit card, my PIN number, too? That's not going to happen.
All your proprietary
Wait a second. To be fair to myself, did Bob Feeder pass away, or is he still living?
No idea. I think he's still alive.
He used to give on his side of what was going on in the media. I bet you that if we perused it, there would be public knowledge of what it was.
Well, there was.
Okay,
Henry Greenstein in the Tribune reported I was making $600,000.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, he was like.
So it's not like
entertainment contracts can be complicated. Just having a little bit of experience with that, there's incentives, there's viewer incentives, there's point incentives, there's a lot of things going on with entertainment contracts. So there's a lot there. And there's a lot that can be taken away from you, as we know. So I just wanted to chime in. People can look away or not listen to the radio, but there's three things that sell. Sex always sells. Fear always sells. And you just gotta. That's the way it is in media. So. You have fear is an amazing commodity today, and again, sex will always be there. So it's just one of those things. You both experienced it, and what you said or what you tweeted, there's far worse on this radio station than what you said from a misogynistic standpoint. Far worse, but you don't see the pressure from. Contributors and people that put their commercials on WJOB. You just don't. You might see it behind the scenes, Coos. I don't know. Jed doesn't like talking about things like that. So,
I mean, my viewpoint is that because I've been around people that I know may be misogynistic or this, or even have a taste of racist in them. Okay, but at least I know who they are. I'm more in. My value system is that I value authenticity. I would rather know who you are, and then I can determine how much time I want to spend around you or not. As opposed to, I say this about the far left. Progressives are the flakiest, meanest, nastiest people that there are. And they tell themselves, they justify that I really believe. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm listening to an outtake from Kamala Harris being interviewed by Rachel Maddow. And she literally says, why didn't you pick Pete Buttigieg to be the vice president of the United States of America? She literally said, I couldn't do that because he's gay. That, by definition, is discrimination. By the definition of the word, he didn't get selected because of who he was.
What was Rachel's reply to
She
that?
gave her a pass.
As a gay woman.
She gave her a pass. As someone, she tried to first say, isn't that kind of racist or discriminatory?
Yes.
And she kind of said, you have to understand, I'm already a black woman and we were trying to win. That's different. You deliberately said in your book and in this interview that he was not chosen because he was gay. That, by definition,
forget about the
is
fact
discrimination.
Forget about the fact that he was an Iraqi and Afghanistan,
he's
veteran.
a very
Forget about all
qualified
that
guy.
stuff.
I would also state that he would never have been picked to be the transportation secretary had he not been gay.
Right.
Because the deal that was made with James Clyburn for Biden, if you remember, Biden got his ass kicked in Iowa, got his ass kicked in New Hampshire. He put his tail between his legs as he flew to South Carolina to go see his friend James Clyburn, who for the first time in the history of my lifetime, the Democratic Party got their act together and said, we're going to lose to this guy unless we have a guy who can beat him, and the only guy that can beat him is Biden. So we're going to get Klobuchar out of the race, we're going to get Buttigieg out of the race, we're going to give them some goodies, which they did. Pete Buttigieg will never win the Democratic nomination because the African American community will not vote for a gay white man.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay,
so
it's just the reality of the world.
I said there's three things that sell in mass media, right? And I gave you two. The very first one is blood. Blood sells, sex still sells, and fear sells. That's unfortunately where we're at. And you talk about Democrats and liberals. There is no middle ground, and I think that's by design. You know, the 60% that do all the work and pay all the taxes and do all the living and dying and take care of everybody. It's the 20% on each far wing. So if you're a liberal, then all Republicans are protect pedophiles, right? And if you're on the far right, all liberals are are knife wielding abortionists. So once you have that extreme on each end, and we're all in the middle class, right? We all do all the work. You own your own business, and Dan, you're out there, still swinging till you hit something. But
I like that. Dave from Highland, which is now Dave from Gary. Wait a second. Out of nowhere, you're burying the lead. You come out and said you're still out there swinging.
Something.
Swinging at something.
X-Rock, give me a damn call already. Let me make Scott Rosenberg's show bigger. Touch them all.
I just want to leave it at that, and it's always a joy. Dave, I love your show on Friday when you bring someone in. That's I'm going to use the L word, legend, Northwest Indiana, Chicago metro area legend. It's I'm going to be listening. So, hey, thank you all. And Dave, we got beautiful Miller Beach section of Gary there. We got our first Friday, so a lot of stuff's always going on.
Enjoy the beach. It's going to be 85 degrees the next 2 days. David lives on the beach, and we went to Hammond Beach earlier this week. I'm going to Destin next week, so I'll probably stay out of the sun a little bit these next 2 days.
This officially counts as Indian summer because we are in the fall.
Can you
correct?
say that? Can you say that?
Yes, you can. Well, native summer. But here's the thing. One of my favorite, thank you for calling, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
It was a very nice call. Appreciate the joke, too. Especially, I love jokes at my expense. I dished it out so many years. I got to take it when it's given to me. But I'm sorry, where was I going here?
I don't know, but let's go to the next caller because people want to talk to you. That's it. So if you want to chime in, you got Dan McNeil, 219-845-1100. We've bounced around. I specifically called you not to talk about sports.
Yeah, I know.
I think sports is a microcosm of the world. I want to get in. It was important that we talked a little bit about free speech because free speech, I love when people say, well, you're free. You are free to say whatever you want.
And you also are free to receive the consequences with that speech.
And I would dare say that they need to speak more of that when they're teaching kids about that because that's the reality of it. And when and I was a person that protested many things in my earlier life, and you do use the power of the purse. That's what you have. That's an equalizing factor when you're someone that doesn't have the type of power that a Target may have or an ESPN may have. the only way that you can kind of be looked upon is by cobbling people together and saying, I spend $1, but if I get 1 million people and they each spend $1, now I at least have a little bit of say.
Yeah.
And that's the only way a CEO or someone of power is going to deal with you. In this world, I think it's important that we're realistic with people. I think it's one of the things that you tell these people. And Joe, I want to ask you this. You're 22 years old. You're going into the regular world. These colleges try to tell people how idealistic the world is, and it goes back to what my old man said, and he's been gone for 30 years. Follow the money. Follow the money. If money talks and BS walks. So it is a reality of life. You have the right to call me whatever you want, right? I have the right to sock you in the face. That's the world. You have the right to speak whatever you want. The people that are listening have the right to do whatever they want because they heard it. Free speech does not mean that you get to say whatever you want without the ramifications
Joe,
of
you'd
it.
never sock him in the face, would you?
Look, I've got him close one day.
Did you really?
Yes.
Shocker.
We're trying to. I'm trying to teach this young man the way of the world, and I think that I am. He's a good young man, okay?
Young man.
And he is learning. His comes from a good family. He came into this area and played 1 year at Andrean and played with my cousins.
He's a Purdue Northwest guy.
I am.
And he just graduated?
My final semester, I graduated in December.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice. We used to call it Woodmar High when this neighborhood was known as Woodmar. I don't know if anyone still calls it
I think
Woodmar.
they do, and I'm a
they?
91 grad of such university. So I'm very happy to be I was a Laker at the time.
Right.
Okay.
Purdue Cal Lakers.
One Larry Little was the basketball coach at the time.
Who can forget Larry Little and all the Lakers? Bob Bradkey running the wing.
I would dare tell you this: the year that Bob came back from Lakeland or Lakeville or whatever he played in Wisconsin, we played. This is no joke, and I was anywhere near the best player on the team. I'm a role player, but I played high school at Knoll. Chris Opperman played center at Highland. Okay, we have him on our team. Bob Bradkey's sitting out a year. We have it on our intramural team. Art Pollard, who played at the University of Oklahoma under what was his name?
Kelvin Sampson?
No, it was the guy back in the 80s.
Billy Tubbs?
Billy Tubbs comes back and's playing.
Wow, Billy Tubbs. Sam, how about that for a college basketball poll from the 80s?
Another Highland guy that unfortunately has passed away, Jim Baker, was a great shooter. Okay? We literally felt, and Jerry Tomasic, who ended up later going to Clark, transferring to Clark, we literally wanted to take the Lakers on. We wanted to play, they were at NAIH at the time. We wanted to play them, and we felt that we could have ran with them.
The Purdue Cal
Lakers, not
the LA
The Purdue Cal Lakers.
Or the Minneapolis.
So, but the point is that it's been a great part of this area. You're now there. My professor is at the end of her career, Professor Mary Beth O'Connor. And it gives people a great opportunity here. So 21984, Sam Michael. Jimmy, you only got him for a little bit longer. He's going to be the athletic director in Highland. I mean, they're going to come grab him at one point.
Don Fisher, if I get my way.
Don Fisher down at IU.
If I could get him to pull up those 4.6322 routes, I know it makes him happy. He's the proudest Highland guy ever. And I totally dig that because I'm moving home eventually, too, next spring.
Highland is a great place to be.
But, man, oh, man, to be the successor to Don Fisher, oh, my God, would that be a sweet gig.
219-845-1100 if you'd like to talk to Dan McNeil. So, Dan, we've talked about free speech. We did that. Let me ask you a question. It's completely going to change the subject.
Okay.
What do you think about, you could talk about either of these things, and they're kind of big, but you got to at least talk about it because it's going on. Does the fact that the United States government is shut down affect you, number one? You could answer that question. We can go into that orb. Or what do you feel as an individual when you see what's going on with ICE every single day? Does it affect you, or do you have an opinion on it? And at 64, does it affects people differently based on where they live and what profession that they're in?
Right.
Is this something, either of those two subjects, do they affect you as you're in a transition in your life? You've been very honest. I actually called you and told you, and I called Jimmy, that when I listened to you come on with Jim maybe a month or two ago, I felt that was the best radio that I ever heard you do. I thought that was one of the best radio that I heard Jimmy do. Jimmy is a born social worker. He is a born social worker.
He's a good listener.
He is a very good listener. He really does care. And he was in mental health. A counselor would probably be a better term. Because I told him that, and he's like, so he's
not
more of a
trained.
you know what I'm saying? He's good at counseling people and listening.
Yeah,
and that
barroom psychology.
He is. And you were on, and you were giving your life story, and because people's value system, it was your honesty, okay, and authenticity. And this is what we need to get back to. I don't care if you're a racist. Tell me that, as long as you don't discriminate against me, because that's who you are. I don't want to hang out with you, but I'm just saying I'd rather know who you are. Don't put this face on. So many people do, these politicians, and then when the camera's off or the microphone's off, there's someone different.
Yeah.
I want to know who you are.
Yeah.
But that's my value system. Others, I mean, you've been in that business. How many of those people, the term charlatan, we have some on these airwaves here, it's basically a phony. How many phonies did you interact with during your years?
Wow.
And is one of them have a daughter that's pretty prominent in the Chicagoland media?
I'm not sure.
I'll bring it up afterwards if you want to go into it.
Well,
were there any phonies that you called out or who you worked with that you felt were?
Yeah, I think there. I think yes, and there are politicians as well. There's certainly a lot of politics that play into being a media personality. To answer your questions about where we are today, am I affected by the government shutdown? Yes. Do I have an opinion on it? Yes. Am I bothered by things that are happening every day? Yes. Those are my answers to your questions.
In your regular life, and you've been through a lot, how many children do you have?
Three sons.
You have a brother that's had some issues, health issues that you're going out to go?
Yeah. My little brother has stage 4 liver cancer and cirrhosis. Ew.
Okay, so you're dealing with the real life, and you have to deal with that, and you have to figure out a solution, and you have to be a part of it to the best of your ability, correct?
I don't have a solution. I'm going for support and to be a good big brother because that's what my calling is right now. As Dave from Highland said, I keep taking a swing and hoping to put the bat on something.
Make contact.
Right.
Just make some contact.
While I fail to have a batted ball in play, I'll do one-man shows, and I will hold my little brother as long as he wants me to. He's 54 years old. He's unmarried. In many ways, I've been a dad to him since he was 14 or 15. When he was 16, he lived with me. I was 26. I was working for Chet for $18K a year, living in a studio apartment on 174th Place, not far from here. I drive by on my drive over here.
You were close to the Pines over there.
Oh, yeah, very close to the Pines. Yeah, the Pines was walkable. Yeah, that was a great neighborhood. 910 174th. Big 3-flat in a residential neighborhood full of old people, nice and quiet.
I do a lot of work in the area, and I own.
You know what I miss? Rick's Grill.
Rick's Grill.
Oh, Martha and Rick.
Yeah, I used to go to Madvex. It's still there. I used to back when Mr. and Mrs. Madvac actually ran it, and it's still good now. I try to eat a little healthier, but when I do cheat from time to time, I will find myself going to get a Polish over there or going over to Arnie's. But Rick's Grill. So when you look back at all this, because we're down to our final clip. Do we need to take one last break there, Joe?
I got to be in Maryville in just a little bit.
Do you have 10 minutes left?
I got 10 minutes.
Okay, so what we'll do is take our final break, and then I want to ask Dan, as he's at a pivotal point in his life, any words of wisdom and whatever else you want to say to the listening audience, because you just never know. You're going out to Arizona. I mean, I'm not saying that this could be the last time that you're on the airwaves, but you value the fact that you can talk to people, and there are other people that are listening to this.
Yes. This could be the
last time. This could be the last. Oh, we better not say that because we're on YouTube, and they may consider that to be a copyrighted.
Copyright violation.
The Stones may come after us.
Mick might. He needs the money.
All right, we're going to take our last break, and then we'll come back with the legend Dan McNeil, and I want to thank you right now for coming on, and it's always a good time. I think you do a great job. This is what you've done for a living. And I do have to ask you before we leave what you think of Kevin Matthews, what you think of Steve Dow, and we can end kind of with that. So stick around for more. You're listening to Dave Kusiak Show on WJLB 1230 AM 104.7 FM from the beautiful Strachan Van Til Food Market Studios.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Embrace every opportunity. At Indiana University Northwest, you'll research alongside experts, develop career-ready skills, and accomplish your lifelong dreams. Whatever your goal may be, achieve it here close to home at IU Northwest, right here in the region. Join us for a life-changing learning experience at the best-priced university in Northwest Indiana. It all begins at northwest.iu.edu. Bring on tomorrow at Indiana University Northwest.
Teen parents face overwhelming challenges, but with the right support, they can build bright futures for themselves and their children.
Mental Health America's ETAP program provides education, mentorship, and resources to help young parents graduate.
Right now, your donation goes twice as far. Thanks to a generous match, every dollar given up to $30,000 is doubled, but only until March 31st.
Scan the QR code, visit mhanwi.org, or mail your check to ETAP Match today.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at schneiderjobs.com.
That's where he ends up.
Yo, it's Dave Kusiak.
Oh, we back? Are you trying to do me, man? Come on, man. Come on, man.
Not very well.
Are we live?
Yes.
So welcome back, everyone. This is our last stint here. We go till 57. We got 7 minutes, so let's go right to Dan McNeil. Dan, we prefaced some of the things I wanted to talk about. Any last things that you want to get into, generalities about what we talked about? Before we do that, let me ask you about some of the guys that you're at their level. And a lot of you guys are all getting older at the same time. Also, we're there during the heyday of radio. We're there during the heyday of sports radio. We're there during the heyday of the 85 Bears and all the stuff that came before and after that. I recently listened to an interview with Ray Stevens and Nick Gale and Kevin Matthews, and I was a Kev head for a little bit, as much as I would admit to that. And then he was asked about some people in the business, and he was asked about Steve Dow. I know that you were during that time. What can you say about those two individuals and anyone else during your kind of years during the heyday of local sports radio?
Man, the greatest 2-3 hitters in any lineup in Chicago sports or Chicago radio history. Kevin Matthews in middays on the AM Loop, and I became a listener in 88 when I started working at the Loop in January of 88, producing Chet Kopic's nighttime show. Kevin was on between 10 and 2, and then Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer assumed control of the plane and were, without question, the most provocative, most interesting, most impactful radio tandem in the city's history. The Loop was a part of Chicago pop culture. This was before the Wolves were born in the late 80s, early 90s. It's before there was the Wrigleyville buzz existed, but it wasn't as big as it became. In the 90s when Sammy Sosa got there and they lost 100 games a year but still drew more than 2 million fans 2 years in a row.
Sun and beer.
Yeah, no doubt. Sunshine, beer.
Good-looking women.
Pretty girls. Look at Marla Stoney. Hey. It was a great time to be in radio. We talk about the great teams in sports history. Who do you think of? You mentioned the 85 Bears.
Probably the Bulls. The Bulls run under Jordan.
The Bulls when they went 72-10 and beat Seattle in the finals to win their fourth of 6.
But we're still a Bears. We're a Bears.
Nationally, the 27 Yankees, Ruth and Gehrig. I played for the 27 Yankees of radio. The 85 Bears of radio. I was a fourth outfielder. I was a special teams guy, but I got on the field and earned a letter 4 years in a row, 88 through 91, 88, 89,
So did you
90,
hear that
91.
Kevin has MS?
Yeah, I've known about Kevin's illness for many years now, and we're Facebook friends, even though we haven't talked on the telephone, which I'd like to do rather than exchange messages. It's way more personal. I was a huge Kevin fan, both professionally and personally. Training camp of 89. Jim Shorts and I were up late waking up Bears in their dorm on the phone. Jim Shorts and I went out and partied. Kevin was there for a little while.
Yeah, he was there for a little bit.
He had to get a little bit of rest.
Yes, he did. He had to work the next day. Jimmy Shorts didn't.
We started calling all these Bears in their dorm rooms at 1 o'clock in the morning. Thayer, Butler, Jay Hilgenberg, Dennis McKinnon, Otis Wilson. Hey, Otis, are you resting, Big O? Jim Shorts just crushed it. And Steve Dahl was the biggest influence on my style. Not so much in terms of pacing. I was a much more rapid-fire driver than he was. But in terms of what to make your show, how to use sound, how to engage your audience, I learned more from Steve than anyone. Chet was my champion. He scraped me off the street in January of 88. I learned more from Steve Dahl than anybody.
Chet gave you your start.
Yes. Chet gave me my chance. I was coached by Greg Salk, a great program director who gave me some great advice over the years, especially early on when I had no business being on the radio. I mean, I sucked. Really, I sucked all 4 years as a host. As a bit player, I was fine. Filling in for Bruce on Brandmeier's show, Bruce Wolf, who I believe you could still hear Fridays.
I think, and he's had a good run as well.
He should have been on the air much longer.
What was his end? Everyone has an end. Did he piss somebody off?
Oh, yeah. Who didn't he piss off? Yeah, but I think his talents have... I don't know. His talents have become, I guess, a dated skill. I mean, jersey numbers from Cubs players and Bears players of the 60s and 70s is fine for a handful of us, and I'll play with him anytime he wants to trade Adolfo Phillips' 25 for Jerry Muckensturm's 58. Bruce, if he's listening, will know those references.
So we've got a minute and a half left. I want to talk about Dan McNeil. I want to talk about Dan McNeil.
What final words?
Final words to you. Not that it's going to be the final time you're here.
Right.
But if you had to say you're 64, you've had a great run in this business, you've been in and out of this area your whole life, what say you?
This was one of the worst years of my life. April and May drove me to my knees. When I learned of my brother's cancer, that was certainly an enormous blow and will continue to hurt for a long time. Going through a divorce, it was a bad spring, and it took a while for me to recover. You might have noticed a significant weight loss. It wasn't intentional. I was sick a lot this summer, but I plowed through it, and what got me through it as much as anything was music, and that's what I will take with me, whatever happens, health-wise, bad fortune to my family and friends, bad luck for me, whatever the case may be. In the words of Led Zeppelin, let the music be your master. and that's what I decided to do in July, and my life immediately took an upturn.
Dan, as always, thank you very much for coming on. This is next Friday. We'll have a fill-in. I'm going to take a few days off. I am a capitalist. This program was sponsored by Kusiak Construction. If you're looking at getting a project done, we're locally owned and operated, whether it be roofing, fascia, soffit, siding, wheelchair ramps, new front porch, blown-in insulation, anything from the foundation up, please give us a shot. You'll be happy with us. One of 4 smiling faces, maybe me, will come on out. And we always give money back. We're proud to give $1,000 for this next program because their values coincide with Kusiak Construction, which is Veterans Views. So stick around. It is the award-winning Veterans Views. And Dan, as always, we'll have you back. This is a turning point in your life, but you got a lot left. So there's going to be a lot of turns left.
Oh, yeah. A lot of innings left to play, a lot of funerals left to attend, and I'm good with
a lot of life yet to live.
Yeah, but something I've learned along the way is, when you get to be in your 60s, you spend a lot of time going to wakes and funerals, and I can be of a use in those environments. People have told me I have a way of making people feel better by words I pick. I know a lot of people struggle to find words at a wake. Sorry about your loss. This must be terrible, or the worst thing you could say, I know what you're going through. No, you don't.
You know what people see the most or feel the most? Authenticity.
Yeah.
It never goes out of style.
That's true.
So on that note, it'll be a podcast, and it'll be called Legends, because every time that I have a guest, it's turned into a podcast. So Joe, thank you very much. They're back. They got the master thing going. I don't know how much was on, how much wasn't. I've just been taught by Professor Mary Beth O'Connor that you just keep on going and you let the people behind the scenes straighten it out, and then you'll figure out what needs to be cut or what was taped or what wasn't. But that's what we did because that's what we've been taught. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoy listening to me. I enjoy you being a part of my family. Thank everyone. My mother-in-law, you're going through a lot. I appreciate it. We love you. And go on out there and enjoy this beautiful weekend because it's going to be in the 80s. We don't know how much longer we got. If it's Friday, it's Dave Kusiak on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM from the beautiful Strachan Van Til Food Market Studios.